Today I have gathered some of the greatest heavyweights of all time, and today we are not going to be talking about the GOAT list. We're going to be talking about who is actually just straight up the best fighter. Don't care about losses, don't care about wins, don't care about record, I don't care about any of that. All of these fighters, if they are in their prime, who is the best fighter? I don't even know who I'm going to pick, and I just want to yap about it today. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with many YouTube channel. So again, we're imagining all of these guys in their prime, who is going to be the best, okay? And starting off with Alexander Volkov. I actually, you know what? Does anybody else think that Volkov has actually reached his prime as of right now? Unfortunately, I don't think that Volkov stands up to a bunch of these guys that we're going to be talking about. I might end up moving him up, but we're going to start off with the B tier over here. And the thing is, I don't know who's going to be the C or D. And I got all of these fighters off of Tapology's top 50 list, so I think that these are probably the best heavyweights of all time. Unfortunately, the list is so small, too, because heavyweight is the only division in the UFC that has regressed over time. Maybe there's a conversation to be had at light heavyweight, but... And I should have mentioned this at the beginning of the video, too. I don't care about anything like roids. Typically, I would exclude people like Junior Dos Santos, Alistair Overeem, John Jones for being PED cheats, those types of things. At heavyweight, we need this. Okay, so we're going to ignore all of that. Now, let's continue on to Alistair Overeem. Guys, an unpopular take that I've had, and it's one that's been a little bit similar to Curtis Blades, but I'll touch on that once I end up getting to him, is I believe Alistair Overeem is one of the greatest heavyweight fighters to ever do it. If he had a chin on him, he would go down as one of the GOATs of heavyweight. He would kill the vast majority of people on this list, but the problem is, you can shut his lights off fairly easily. That's a issue, especially at heavyweight, where all it takes is one shot. We've seen it happen to Overeem on countless occasions, where he may be winning the fight, and all of a sudden just... boom! Oh, Alistair Overeem's rocked. He's hurt. He's backing up. I still might want to throw him into the S tier, though. I think he is an excellent heavyweight. One of the most dangerous fighters there ever is. A very underrated ground game, dangerous stand-up, incredible power. We might move him down a notch depending on who else we throw into the S tier, but we're going to start Alistair Overeem over in the S tier, okay? Andrei Arlovski. This dude was an animal in his prime. And people don't know how good Andrei Arlovski actually was. This guy walked forward. He had no problem throwing hands, and he kept it technical, too. It was just good luck kind of trying to overpower this guy. This guy gave Fedor a run for his money back in the day. I think Andrei Arlovski is excellent, but I do think that Alistair Overeem is better than Andrei Arlovski in his prime. I'm going to put Arlovski over into the A tier. Cain Velasquez. C-level Cain. This one's tough. And tough in the sense that I already kind of think that he might just be the best. Cain Velasquez was a different animal. With the way that he just mauled people, he came in with a well-rounded game, excellent hands, fast hands for heavyweight. He was relentless. The wrestling pressure. He is absolutely incredible, and oh my god, Daniel Cormier is not on this list, is he? There, I fixed it, but what I was gonna say is, I can't believe that I actually ended up forgetting Daniel Cormier within this, but dude, what I was actually gonna say is, he's better than Daniel Cormier in the pressure that he put on. His wrestling was arguably just as good. His top game, his relentless striking. This dude could do it all. Technique, brawling, the way that he beat up the Santos for 5 rounds. I believe Cain Velasquez to be the greatest heavyweight of all time, and this is coming from somebody, and I don't think I'm going to rank anybody above him, to be honest with you. This is coming from somebody who is so about the new generation of martial arts. It's just every once in a while you have that fighter. For example, I don't think that GSP is the best welterweight. For example, I don't think that Anderson Silva is the best middleweight. Those types of things. I think Dominic Cruz is overrated. But Cain Velasquez might just be the best heavyweight, okay? Let's continue on to Curtis Blades. And what I was saying, and what I oftentimes get a little bit of pushback on, because I compare him to Alistair Overeem a little bit in the sense where I think that Curtis Blades, in the division as it exists right now, is the best fighter. The problem is, it's too easy to shut his lights off. It's the exact same problem as Overeem, but I do believe Overeem is a better fighter than Curtis Blades. Curtis has the wrestling, the excellent ground and pound, sometimes a little lapses in fight IQ, but his hands are a little bit underrated too. But the problem is, you can't really trust him to stand because it's easy to shut his lights off. Curtis Blades is a great fighter. I'm going to put him right below Andrei Arlovski. Okay, now let's talk about Fedor Emelianenko. Yeah, this guy was good. This guy was real good, but I know I'm about to hear an unpopular opinion, guys. I do not think that he is literally the best heavyweight. But also, when people talk about all these guys and their records, who did Fedor beat? Fedor, first of all, he beat some animals, and sometimes you can just tell with the guy's presence in the octagon. He could do everything. He was one of the greatest fighters to ever do it. Just in the sense that no matter what you're doing to him, he could probably do it better. If you're overcoming him with something, he could probably just land a big bomb and knock you out. The guy was just a tough fighter. I'm going to put Prime Fedor behind Cain Velasquez. I believe Cain Velasquez would beat Fedor Emelianenko. I really do believe that. Let's continue on over to Francis Ngannou. The guy's got power. The guy has very little cardio. I know we've seen him go 5 rounds of Cyril Gane, but nothing impressive. I think most guys would beat him over here, but the problem is we've seen Curtis Blades. I know it was a long time ago, but I don't think that fight would really go any differently. But the thing is, I still don't think that Francis is as good of a fighter as Curtis Blades is. I know how crazy that might be to hear, guys, but then again, like if we're matching these two up, I believe Francis would beat Volkov, and I believe Francis would beat Curtis Blades, and I think a Prime Arlovsky would beat Francis Ngannou. So you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to move Curtis Blades down to B. I'm going to put Francis at the top of B tier, okay? And now let's continue on over to Cyril Gane. I think that we've all finally decided that Cyril Gane has been an underrated heavyweight. The guy's got power. The guy's got athleticism. The guy's got movement. Excellent striking for the division. I don't think he has it on any of these guys up here. Maybe an A tier. It could be argued that he beat Francis Ngannou, and I still think that he's a better fighter than Francis Ngannou. He was able to take Francis Ngannou's shots. I'm going to put him at the top of B tier. I'm going to put him right ahead of Francis Ngannou. Okay, now for Jon Jones. Guys, I think that Jon Jones looked like crap at heavyweight, and I've always said, and I've acknowledged how good Jon Jones was throughout his career, okay? PED usage aside, like he is one of the greatest fighters to ever do it. For light heavyweight. And the conversation that people have about Jon Jones constantly beating people that are smaller than him is very real. Once he matches guys like Gustafsson and Dominic Reyes, people that can like match his size, he struggles. The way he struggled against a Stipe Miocic that was completely washed. I know that Jon is older too, and Jon's out of his prime. I always thought that Jon wouldn't be able to perform at heavyweight. I think Overeem would kill him. I think Fedor would kill him. I think Cain Velasquez would kill him. A big conversation was, can Jon Jones fight Cain Velasquez? The fans want him to go up to heavyweight for a long time. I would have put so much money down that Cain Velasquez would ragdoll Jon Jones at heavyweight. I know he would. And I think Arlovsky would beat him too. But here's the thing. We got to imagine a prime Jon Jones going up there. A prime Jon Jones wouldn't show up. I would imagine he wouldn't show up with a gut. I would imagine he'd show up completely roided out. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I think he's going to beat a Cyril Gane, Francis Ngannou, Curtis Blades, all those guys. I'm going to put him at the bottom of A tier, but I do not think he would get past Prime Arlovsky. Let's continue on to Junior Dos Santos. Guy was an animal on the roids. This guy was one of the hardest hitting heavyweights to ever do it. He had a very complete game. The only time he really suffered was the pressure of Cain Velasquez. But other than that, this guy walked it. He was killing people. Grappling defense was good. He was strong. He was quick. He had fast hands. Incredible technique for a heavyweight. He is great. I am putting him into the S tier. But here's the thing. Is he better than Alistair Overeem? Is he better than Fedor Emelianenko? I'm going to go with no. But I do think that he's better than Overeem. Because again, you know what, man? I rated Alistair Overeem too high. How can I put him in the S tier with all of these guys when you can shut his lights off? I don't know what the hell I was just thinking, guys. I'm so sorry, because like this is the way that I'm thinking about this. Who's the best fighter? I think Cain would beat everybody here. Fedor would beat everybody below him. Junior Dos Santos would beat everybody below him. Okay? And I know that we've seen some of these matchups. I'm talking about complete prime for prime. I'm demoting Alistair Overeem. Ooh, I'm putting him below Arlovsky. It's too easy to shut its lights off. But I don't think that Jon Jones would ever have the power to knock out an Alistair Overeem. I think that fits better in my opinion. Okay, now let's talk about Stipe Miocic, one of the greatest heavyweight fighters to ever do it. A lot of people think that he's the heavyweight GOAT. I do not believe him to be the heavyweight GOAT. But man, is he up there. He is definitely an S tier. I think he's better than Arlovsky. Would a prime Stipe Miocic beat prime Junior Dos Santos? The first time they took each other on, I don't think that Stipe was on his prime, and I think that Junior Dos Santos was a little bit below his prime. So that would have been a very interesting matchup to see. Ooh, that's so tough. I don't think that he would beat Junior Dos Santos, but I think he'd be close. So I'm going to put him at the bottom of S tier. Okay, now let's talk about Sergey Pavlovich. Killer prime Sergey Pavlovich was a little bit of a problem to deal with, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to put him into the B tier. I'm going to put Sergey Pavlovich all the way at the bottom of B tier, man. He does not stack up. And Tom Aspinall. Here's the problem with Tom Aspinall. This is something that I've talked about in my breakdowns consistently with Tom Aspinall, is we still have questions about his overall game. He holds his chin way too high. He's never eaten like a really solid shot. We don't know if he has good cardio because he comes in and kills people. I don't know where I could possibly rank Tom Aspinall from what we've seen so far. You know what? I would have to decide this based on like from what we've seen from Tom. Of course, like what else am I going to base it on? But the thing is, we still have questions. So he's the one that could definitely bounce around. He was losing to Cyril, and he looked like he was going to be on his way to losing to Cyril Gone. Francis Ngannou, I could see clipping Tom Aspinall. Tom with the chin and the way that he holds it up that high, I could see him clipping Tom Aspinall. So I'm going to put Tom Aspinall in the B tier right ahead of Curtis Blades, okay? Fabricio Verdum, another major issue for a bunch of fighters that were on PEDs. He was good, man. His striking really came along. He had some really sneaky Muay Thai. His jiu-jitsu game was really good for heavyweight. His movement was good for heavyweight. Underrated power. I don't think that he's up there with the S tiers, though, and I'm going to put Fabricio Verdum into the A tier. Here's the question. Is he better than Arlovsky and Overeem? If these were fighting, first of all, would he beat Alistair Overeem? That's the question. And I know, again, that we've seen some of these matchups, guys. I'm talking about prime for prime over here. That is a big toughie, man. That's a big tough one. I would pick Overeem to beat Fabricio Verdum, but Fabricio Verdum would definitely beat John Jones. And finally, we have Daniel Cormier, one of the best ever dude at heavyweight. Daniel Cormier is definitely an S tier. Would a prime Daniel Cormier beat a prime Stipe Miocic? Stipe might be able to tough it out with Daniel, but I'm going to go with Daniel Cormier to beat Stipe Miocic in their primes. I like that, but I think that DC would lose to Junior Dos Santos. I know the game plan is there with the way that Kane was fighting Junior Dos Santos, but I don't think that Daniel Cormier brings that same pressure and kind of like mauling energy that Kane brought to Junior Dos Santos. I can see Junior Dos Santos having a lot of work with the body money. So C-Level Kane is officially, in my opinion, the greatest heavyweight of all time, the greatest heavyweight to ever do it, followed by Fedor Emelianenko, followed by Junior Dos Santos, followed by Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic, which unfortunately, out of all of the capable heavyweights out there, we have Sergey Pavlovich sitting at the bottom over here. Guys, let me know what you think down below. I'm sure that I'm going to hear about it for sure. Check out another tier list video if you're interested right here, right now. I would love to have you over there. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Take care, everybody.